All right, everyone. We start off today talking about what Comer is doing right now in response to the FBI. The FBI has possession, and we know that this is the case. I've already gone over it, but I'll rehash it for everyone in a minute. The FBI is in possession of an unclassified document, so it's not top secret or anything. It's some notes that they scribbled down or whatever. We're not 100% sure what the document or documents are. It's unclassified. And it purports to discuss potential fraudulent or dubious business dealings involving Joe Biden. So it could be, a reference to the smoking gun material we've got from Hunter's laptop. Some business connection with a foreign entity is likely implicated here, and shows that Biden lied to the American people. Now, again, it's preaching to the choir to point that out. People who paid attention to the news and didn't get propagandized to, because they're watching independent content creators or whatever, understand that the Hunter Biden laptop was real. The contents are real. And they show that Joe Biden lied. We've got pictures of him actually meeting with people he claimed he never met, and with Hunter in attendance, of course. And there was a cover-up involved. Again, if you look at rather pedestrian news on the latter end, even they've admitted, oh yeah, we fucked up. It was real all along and it wasn't a Russian disinfo campaign. Now, this is being looked into actively. Some of the material there is more damning than others. I like how the biggest cope at this point is basically when you bring up Hunter Biden's laptop, people claim that you're obsessed with Hunter's penis. Very interesting. Literally nobody cares other than for the points of joviality to even discuss the topic because he's a mess, a crack smoker, etc. It's really more about Joe's business dealings. That doesn't manage to get into the legacy media. Now, Comer's been looking into it. And they've subpoenaed the FBI for this document again. This is not a classified document at all. It's not a sensitive document. This could be internal correspondence merely mentioning the possibility of a business deal involving Joe Biden. That doesn't even mean that there's necessarily any proof of that specific noted deal. It's an unclassified document for a reason. And the FBI has repeatedly refused. We know that the document exists because they've refused to give it. Well, you can't refuse to give a document that's not real. The response would be, no such document exists. We searched the archives. We'll give testimony. We're not sure what you're even talking about, but the document in question does not actually exist. So we know that it does because of their response initially. Now, they've been saying they're stonewalling, they're dragging their feet, and then Comer's starting to get a little bit upset. Now what they're saying is, well, we'll definitely give you access to any documents that are pertinent to what you're discussing that won't damage national security interests or harm agents or something like that. So I guess, maybe an agent's name is on the document or something like that. But the thing is, the FBI doesn't have the right to unilaterally not give a document that's been subpoenaed that is unclassified to Congress for purview and shield itself with that excuse. So now, Comer's moving to hold Wray in contempt. That is the head of the FBI. Here's what will happen from here on out. Wray may give testimony. He may be compelled to do so. In the end, he will probably not get in trouble because, when you get held in contempt of Congress, if you're part of the party, if you're part of the uniparty system, you don't get in trouble. In fact, apparently they lack the capability to even force you to appear and defend yourself. If you're not part of the uniparty, of course, apparently they can hold you in a jail cell forever. So, once again, the law is like a spider's web. The flies are caught, the wasps go free. Wray is a wasp. He's shielded by the Biden admin. And it looks like the FBI is returning the favor. It looks like a big stinky cover-up, and I would expect nothing less from a weaponized FBI and a criminal, lawless administration. I wouldn't suspect that anything. I'd be surprised if Joe Biden weren't involved in such criminality, and I'd be surprised if the FBI, much like the newly to-be-expanded IRS, thank you, Kevin McCarthy, will be weaponized as well. It's the uniparty lashing back out against people because it fears losing control in the wake of 2016, and so they're covering ass. And they're organizing. Look at what's happening in Michigan right now with their election system that's been ongoing for a number of years. Fortification writ large. By the way, Republicans, write off Michigan for 2024. Take that money and put it into a state that you can actually win, because it won't be Michigan. You can abandon that state permanently and shore things up in New Hampshire, some places where the laws are still half sane. They'll hold him in contempt, probably. They get the votes to do that. and the Republicans are itching to amp up against the FBI. It's definitely red meat to the core fans. Half the population will look at this and say the FBI is crooked, and the other half will respond by saying, look, it's another Republican war on law enforcement. They hate the FBI and want people to be less safe. It's interesting how the Democrats go full thin blue liner as long as it's federal bureaucrats and not actual cops. Sheriffs? Fuck them. Metro forces? Fuck them. I would agree with the left in some parts of the country, by the way. Portland, New York, Chicago. Throw them under the bus. The people that actually genuinely in some cases are good people, but the skeevy agents who you can't even have any transparency about because of a top secret mumbo jumbo, those are the good guys. It's because they're weaponized for political reasons because they're bureaucrats. Now, so they'll probably hold him in contempt. He'll probably talk to them. And he'll just take the fifth or say, I can't discuss that because of national security concerns. And at the end of the day, the Republicans will ultimately do nothing. We'll continue to know that a sensitive document exists that exposes at least mention, not necessarily proof of, but mention of an additional business deal involving Joe Biden's connections through his son that was arguably illegal or at least dubious or something to that effect. We know that these deals exist because of the Hunter Biden releases anyway, so it would fit right in with the historical pattern of Biden's behavior, and we will continue not to have any disclosure on it. The FBI is effectively doing the same thing as it's doing with certain J6 footage. They're saying, well, we can't release it to you. We can't release it to you because it might undermine some of our agents' integrity because there were, informants and stuff there. Oh, very interesting. So we can't give you the evidence that may countermand our entire narrative. We're hiding behind legalese bureaucracy in order to do so. And the Republicans, they won't even push that latter issue very far. They've pretty much let that one go. They quietly sit in committee twiddling their thumbs occasionally, and the American people and McCarthy overseeing it. So I'm so surprised that it's been ineffectual so far. The document exists. This is a massive scandal. There is an explicit cover-up going on that involves the highest-ranking members of the FBI. And now they're writing a strongly worded letter, spanking Chris Wray, holding him in contempt and commending him to appear before Congress. But as we've seen with the Uniparty, I wouldn't expect that anything major comes of it, even though it should. We no longer have any form of transparency within the federal government in the United States because it's all been reworked in order to crack down on dissidents. That's the long and short of it. They're afraid of the toys being broken. They're afraid of their corporate buddies losing money. They're afraid of being exposed for what they really are. Bunch of commies, basically. That's about all. Peace out.